Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tom Zuba, and it is Thursday. I am live every Thursday here on my YouTube channel. I'm happy that you are here today. So, author Marianne Williamson describes a miracle as a shift in perception. I love that definition, a shift in perception. And what we're going to talk about today is shifting the way we look at birthdays and anniversaries when someone we love dearly has died. And if you're not that familiar with me or my story, I'm the guy with 2 dead kids and one dead wife. So I have had a lot of experience with birthdays and anniversaries. I want to begin by reading from my second book, Becoming Radiant. I'm going to read chapter 13. This is not the end. If you are listening to these words, you are part of the tribe that has come to the planet at this time in history to change the way we do grief. You are learning that the death of your loved one is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the beginning of a new way of being for you. And that new way of being includes a new relationship with the person you love, who finished all the work he came here to do, left her physical body, and went home. That relationship continues. It does not matter if he was here for 1 minute, 1 day, 6 years, 32 years, or 101 years. It does not matter if her precious body was never actually born alive. The relationship continues. The essence of who I am and the essence of who you are is eternal. Think about that. We are each spiritual beings having a physical experience. When we are done here on earth, we go home to source, to God, to love. When we are done, we go home. You and I are not done. How do we know that? We're still here. So the invitation following the transition of our beloveds is to discover, why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we still here in our physical bodies? Grief is our teacher. Grief is not the enemy. We are learning consciously or we are learning subconsciously. We are asleep or we are awake. We are choosing to be bitter, angry, hopeless, and closed off, or we are choosing to be grateful and gentle and hope-filled and open-hearted. What are you learning? Who are you becoming? The choice is yours, always, always, always. The choice is ours. So I'm excited today to bring on my co-host, Jessica, who many of you know. Yesterday was Jessica's daughter, Olivia's 12th birthday. Yesterday was Olivia's 12th birthday. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, how are you?
Good, it's really, really nice to see you.
Really, really good to be here with you.
So I was sharing with folks that yesterday was Olivia's 12th birthday.
Yes.
What did you and Lily do?
We planned ahead because I've learned that that helps for us to make things a little bit smoother. Of course, we were very aware of the day coming up. So we tried to do things that would honor Olivia and feel really, really good for Lily and I, that things that brought us peace and that made us happy. And some of those things happened and some of those things kind of got a little bit derailed as life happens for us. So she had school, and then I was able to teach music that day. So one of the things that I consciously chose to do, we always play and sing our certain songs the days that I get to teach music. And I incorporated some of Olivia's favorite songs. Like when all the students were entering the class, my classroom, it was her birth song, which is Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but the Hawaiian version, have you heard that? Yes.
Not only have I heard it, I played it at Rory's memorial service.
Of course you did. Of course you did. So, and some of the kiddos were aware of the story behind that. And I don't know when he passed, the singer, and the singer of that song, Israel, and he goes by IZ. But the video that we played, and some of the kiddos were conscious of it and some weren't, but it was at his celebration of life. But nobody would know that unless you knew the story behind it. Actually, one kiddo kind of mentioned it. So we started the day setting that intention, and we always play uplifting songs, but some of Olivia's favorites that we haven't introduced to the students before, like Brave, and then Fight Song. And these were songs that we would play on our way into treatment that would kind of get our blood kind of pumping a little bit and let us feel a little bit more empowered about the day that we were going to be taking on. So that felt really good.
Yeah. So how do I ask this? How many times have you celebrated her birthday without her physically being here?
So this is 4 years. We haven't yet come upon her 4th anniversary of her passing, but this is her 4th birthday without her physically being here with us.
And is one of the things you've learned is that it's better to go into it with a plan?
It is. And then also knowing that life happens, right?
Yeah.
That we plan to do at the end of the day, Lily was going to have a writing lesson. Olivia loves horses, and the girls were in a writing program before. And so we've recently started that back up. And so that was canceled. Our writing instructor had something that came up and had to cancel last minute. So we had to be flexible and alter our plans. And one of the things that kind of came up, especially in the beginning with Lily, any type of alteration in the plan really, really upset her.
Yeah.
Life has already happened for her in many, many big ways, but we went with it and we kind of helped to manage her disappointment regarding it. And then we shifted. We said, well, and she had just gotten like straight A's on her report card. So it was just a full, beautiful day of celebration. I'm like, and what we have in our little area is Walmart. Like, let's go to the toy section in Walmart. Or she goes, well, maybe the crafts too. That made me really happy. So she chose what she wanted to get, and we came home and we celebrated.
So you are teaching your daughter a new way to remember her sister on her sister's birthday.
Absolutely. With intention, and with a lot of laughter and tears as well, because that's real life and that's reality. And we sang happy birthday, and I made Olivia's favorite dessert. I had never made it before, but it was like the molten lava chocolate cake with like the ooey gooey chocolate center. So I made those, and then I bought the candles, that 1 and a 2. So I made 2 chocolate cakes, and we started to sing. And Lily was helping me with the lighting and everything because she knew I wanted to take pictures to remember, because I try to, take photos of everything, especially now. And she goes, I'm feeling sad. And so she started to cry. And I said, I know. I said, but do you also feel the love? And do what else do you feel? But acknowledging the sadness that sits right next to the love.
Remind everybody how old Lily is.
Lily is 9.
So the fact that your 9-year-old daughter was comfortable enough to tell her mom that I feel sad, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Talk about creating a safe, sacred space where she gets to be seen, heard, and honored exactly as she is.
Absolutely. We do feelings in a really big way in our house.
Yeah. Yeah. And in retrospect, I would wonder, was she sad the entire day?
I'm sure that she was. Yeah.
You think so? You think so when she was at Walmart buying cool stuff in the toy section?
Parts of it were sad.
Okay.
But that's how we discuss, like, that sadness can sit right next to the joy, that we're celebrating, and we're eating this amazing chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Olivia would say, why did you just make 2? You should have made the whole, like, you should have made 6.
Yes.
And laughing and looking through photos and talking about lots of memories and the good times.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
getting new memories.
That's a powerful gift to be able to give anyone, that it's not either or. I can be sad and I can be so excited that we have this incredible cake and I can't wait to eat it. I can be sad. I'm looking at pictures of my sister or my daughter, and I can also be so, so, so grateful that she was and continues to be part of my life.
Absolutely. And we talk about her every day. We talk to her every day. Of course, there's photos of her all around her house, and there's photos that bring us joy. Even the photos where she was in treatment. So some of the photos, she doesn't have any hair, but she's jubilant with a smile on her face, and she's, holding Lily or doing something goofy and silly, and it sparks joy. So we throw it up on the wall, blow it up.
So how does this year compare to, say, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Do you recall?
Oh, I do. I remember her first birthday. And we had this enormous snowstorm. We had 17 inches of snow. I've never seen snow like it, which was beautiful because life literally stopped. And it doesn't always do that for those milestones. But I saw that as such a gift. I was really, really grateful for that. And we trekked out through the snow. We were at the farm. And when Olivia was with us, when we were in New York, we went to Chinatown and we bought these lanterns, like the lanterns. Oh, if anyone's familiar with like the Disney movie, Tangled, they light all those lanterns, and Olivia loved it. So that's why we purchased them. But they're just beautiful lanterns to light. And they're like 2.5 to 3 feet tall. And I thought, gosh, we've traveled around with these things. I don't even know if they're going to light. I've never lit one before. But we lit one and it took off, and we lit it. Of course, and it was at night, and we took a couple of pictures, or lots of pictures and video. And we said some prayers and lots of tears. And I remember that. I don't remember a lot of other the details regarding that, because it was so hard. We did something to honor her that felt good to us, because I wanted to mark the date, and I wanted Lily to remember. But there was a lot of numbness for, surrounding that very first birthday.
I always say to people, how could it not be hard?
How could it be any different than what it was? But
right. And if someone says, I just feel like I want to stay in bed all day and just let the day come and go, I always say, if that's really what you want to do it.
Absolutely. Do whatever feels best. And we've learned kind of a gentler approach as we're a few years out. Just doing whatever feels best for you on that given day. And then even, we had bigger plans than what actually transpired yesterday, but it was perfect. It was kind
Yeah.
of into, this is what we had planned, but as we all know, life sometimes has different plans for us. So
If I can give anyone any unsolicited advice, it would be create a plan. Even if the plan is I'm going to stay in bed all day long. For me personally, to have a sense for what I'm going to do on that day, as opposed to just, allowing it to unfold. It may sound contradictory, but on those type of days for me personally, if I allow the day to unfold, there's a really, really good chance I might still sit in a chair the entire day. Not that there would be anything wrong with that, but I know that for me, there's more. There is more, there's more, there is more.
absolutely. And even I'll just add, we chose to, so we came back in and after dinner, we snuggled up on the couch, but we consciously chose to get Olivia's blanket that was with her as she passed and her favorite stuffed animal that was also with her, Sarah, this little snow leopard. So we had those with us on the couch and we slept with them last night in our bed. So, but it brings us comfort. So it's a way to draw her into the present.
Absolutely, absolutely. Was this year, were the days prior to her birthday, were those stressful as well, or not so much anymore?
It's a give and take a little bit more. I was a little bit more sensitive. And I thought, you immediately I start thinking, well, it's because I've got a lot on my plate. I've got these things going on. But then I also am very, very aware of the date that's coming up. And that, of course, I'm going to be a little bit more sensitive around these important milestones. But also, I will add, because it was such a turning point in my healing for me, which I'm forever going to be on. But when I would hear things thrown out that kind of those self-fulfilling prophecies that, oh, you think the first year is bad, like the old way, you think the first year is bad, wait until you experience the second or the third or the fifth years, and I was just struggling in those early days just to get through a day at a time, an afternoon at a time. And when I would hear that, it was like panic, just crushing me. And I thought, and it was after the 1 year point, but I thought, this doesn't have to be my reality because someone else has said it and I've heard it spoken over and over.
I think that is a really, really important point for us to say over and over and over again. That words have power.
Yes.
And if you buy into the notion that the second birthday is going to be worse, the fifth birthday is going to be horrible, if you believe that, that is what you will create. But what our intention is to show people that there is indeed a new way and that we are actually active participants in creating our lives. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to. It's a conscious choice, and what we focus on, we do get to create.
Right. And
a new approach for me entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. And for most of us, I think it's human nature. We create pain, we create pain, we create pain, we create pain. We look around. All the other moms, all the other dads with children who have died, they seem to be creating pain as well. And then there comes a point for some of us when we say, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. I cannot continue to create and live in this pain for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And that the love and the connection is not confined into that pain.
Absolutely not.
That was my story. It was so hard for me to shift to that I thought, if I love Olivia, if I'm a good mom, I'm going to stay in this place of pain and sorrow and deep grief and just, trudge my way through it. But
Speaking of good moms, we
amazing.
have a special guest, and I'm really excited to meet her. I've never met her. So tell us a little bit about this good mom.
Well, I'm a little partial to this particular mother because she happens to be my mother, the most incredible, in my humble opinion, human on the planet. She has been by our side before Olivia's diagnosis, and certainly throughout our almost 4-year odyssey of traveling to multiple cities, even outside of the country, saying, okay, where are we going to go now? Packing a suitcase and putting a smile on her face and doing it with such grace and ease that she makes it look effortless. But of course it's not. And it's really, it's been such a journey. So Mom.
So this is Olivia's grandma.
Yes, this is Olivia. Olivia's grandma. Nana, she goes by. Let me pull up a seat. I should have done this before.
Well, there's that picture.
Okay.
Hello, how are you? Should I sit?
Hi. It's so nice to meet
Just make
you.
sure that you're in the frame here.
Oh, here. Oh, I guess I better sit down, huh? There you go. Oh, there I am. Oh,
Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's really an honor. Yeah, I have to add something to Jessica's prior comment about how I packed my suitcase with a smile on my face and I was always ready to go. I said something about, and I always had a really good cocktail along with me. I knew how to make a good cocktail.
Oh, well, a good smile, a good prayer, and a well-mixed cocktail.
And a well-mixed cocktail.
What is your favorite well-mixed cocktail?
Oh, gee, what was ever available? Because we'd always go to the local grocery store and see what they had. Something that was pretty potable. I'd say wine.
Okay.
Didn't take a lot of mixers, but that helped. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Everybody is doing exactly what we need to do to survive. And it's important to know what's going to help us get through the day.
Right.
Particularly, I don't have to tell you this, the day after day after day that the two of you lived with your granddaughter.
Right. You just put one foot forward. You kind of just put yourself in robot mode and you just took it as it came. It was just another bomb that kept coming, or it was just this beautiful lull where nothing was happening. At least it looked like nothing was happening. You could take a breath. You could try to be as normal as possible, knowing that none of this was normal, but it was our new normal and we had to work in it and we had to help create a normal for Olivia and for Lily because she was with us quite a bit at the time as well. Yeah. So, you put yourself on robot mode and you just went with it.
Well, not only that, but because this is what has always fascinated me. You are looking at your granddaughters,
right?
But you're also looking at your daughter.
That was the hard part.
Yeah.
I wanted to help her. She was doing what she could do for Olivia, as we all were. But I was trying to take care of her. She was my priority.
So, these shoulders.
Yes.
The love and all the, she carried us through. And because my mom was so present in all aspects, we were able to have Lily with us throughout a lot of our journey.
Lily and I have an incredible bond. Not that all grandparents don't have a bond with their grandchildren, but I feel, and I don't have any favorites. I have 3 beautiful granddaughters and 1 beautiful angel in heaven. But I just feel my bond with Lily from the time all this started. Lily was just about 18, 19 months old. I became her primary caregiver when Jessica wasn't home. And as we traveled to all these other places in the world, we made sure Lily was with us so she could be with her mommy. But I felt like I had this bond with Lily that a little bit closer to her than my other granddaughters. Not that I love them any less, not at all. But I just have this incredible bond because I was there with her throughout this tumultuous time, through all of it. And we wanted Lily with us.
Yeah. And
Well,
then-
not only that, but she needed you. I mean, she
Needed a
really,
mom.
yeah. Well, she
Needed a
needed,
mom.
and she needed a grandma too.
She needed,
Yeah.
yeah, because her dad wasn't able to, you know, he was still working, and that's another issue. We wanted Lily with us.
My
We
mom's
did not
been this
want it.
amazing, solid footing. And then bringing that into the grief process, she's been incredible in being
Well-
our rock as we're now, you know, we've celebrated
Right.
4 years.
Right, and I made a
without-
couple of, I know, Tom, you're talking about how we celebrated, not so much before Olivia's diagnosis and everything, but since, and I was just making some notes as I generally do. But Jessica told you about our first year, we had the lanterns in this huge, big, deep snow, which was absolutely beautiful. The white snow, and then with the lantern going to heaven so Olivia could see it. It was beautiful. And then we also had a little cupcake. I took balloons. Our local school, VIT, where Olivia was a little
That's right.
student for just maybe 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months. They made a beautiful, they have a garden in the middle of
Forgot
both
that. Her
of-
memory's so
of
good.
the elementary. They have like a little garden, and they
Yeah.
put in a beautiful bench and a beautiful arbor with, though she be,
The Shakespeare quote, though she be but little,
she is fierce. And so,
which we all have on our
right, and
bracelets.
we still have our
You have
bracelets.
such a good memory.
And that year I went and got a beautiful little statue, and then I bought some plants. And one of the teachers is the caretaker of the garden. And so those plants are still blooming. When I go to pick up Lily sometimes for school, I'd look in the garden, and there's the statue forever. And there's her little bench, and there's her arbor, and there's vines growing on the arbor. So did that the first year. Our daughter Rebecca, she was also wonderful. When she would come to Cleveland or St. Louis, whatever, her daughter is only 4 weeks younger than Lily. So Lily and Annabelle are sister cousins, and they're as close as sisters could be, as cousins could be.
I
And
love that.
Rebecca was also a force with us in Cleveland the last 3 weeks of Olivia's, well, Olivia was still with us. And on the anniversaries, Rebecca and Annabelle went to the Ronald McDonald House in St. Louis, the St. Louis Children's Hospital. There's a Ronald McDonald on the floor. She went to Sam's and got a big container of instant mac and cheese and snacks and all that, and in a large container. And so she does that every year on Olivia's passing or Olivia's birthday. Something
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Something to give back to our cancer, the pediatric community.
Yeah, to
So,
kind of,
you know,
as
that's
a way to pay
that's
it
her way,
forward.
because she can't come home and celebrate with us. And then we for birthdays, we have Olivia's favorite chocolate cake and candles, and we light them, and we sing happy birthday to her and put balloons in her room. We have a little room at home that we made up with all of her things from Cleveland. And so we put balloons in there, heart balloons. And we went and had Mexican last night because Olivia loved Mexican.
Mhm.
So just those things.
Yeah, that
Just
we consciously try
right.
to.
Jessica and Lily were down at Lake of the Ozarks last year and lit a lantern. They went out on their kayaks in the lake, and our neighbors across the way from us, lovely family, they were on their deck looking at Jessica and Lily, and they took a video of Jessica lighting the lantern as it rose up from the lake and into the heavens. So
Yeah, that was.
Look, I want to ask you two things. One, if there's another grandma or a grandpa out there that's listening either live or to a recording, what advice would you give them if they're not quite sure how to support their children who are either, in the midst of, let's say, cancer treatment, or the child has died? What's your one your number one piece of advice you'd give?
Just give as much support to them as possible. I know some families can either tear them apart or this can bring them closer. Try to give as much support, loving support as you can. If they don't want you in their lives or there's something going on and you feel like you're not able to be with the family, do what you can do for yourself to keep yourself going, your prayers, your faith community, your friends, your other family members, and just pray. Keep the faith. If you're not a godly person, find a support group, find something that is going to help keep you stable and grounded. And if you're grounded, then hopefully the other family members going through it will reach out to you and you can help and support them.
Yeah.
I love that. So you are an advocate of self-care. I mean, make sure that you take care of yourself.
You have to. If you don't, it doesn't work. You have to keep yourself grounded and healthy and in a good mental place, a good mental and physical place.
And it's not selfish, is it?
It's not selfish.
It's not.
I used to think, and I've learned how to say no, except for doing this. I've learned how to say no.
I did tell her she could say no. I did tell you. I said, Mom, you never say no, but you know that you can,
You have to say no to things that don't bring you, I don't want to say peace,
peace
that
too.
aren't encouraging to your well-being.
And to your soul, to your growth.
Yeah.
Not to put words in your mouth.
No, because I used to be on all kinds of women's organizations and I thought I had to be busy and do all this stuff. No, I've taken up things that give me joy, acrylic painting, and I'm learning some chess, just things that I enjoy. I can say no, I don't have to be everything to everybody. I just want to be good to myself so I can be good to my daughters and my family and my granddaughters.
So would you attribute some of that growth to the adventure that you've had with Olivia?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Oh, she taught me how to be strong in the most dire circumstances, in the extreme that we all went to. I would look at her. She had a smile on her face when an adult would be crying and screaming. I looked at Olivia and she was my strength. She was my guiding light, and to this day, she still is. I look back on everything she went through and it's like, what grace, what strength she had. So I look at her picture all the time. I have it on my front entry table, and a candle. That candle, it burns 24/7. I never let it go out. And she is my strength. And I think if you could do it, so can I.
So it sounds to me like the relationship with your granddaughter did not end the day she left her physical body. It sounds like she's very much a part of your life.
No.
She's front and center, isn't she?
Yeah, she's front and center. And I've had a couple of, she came to me in a dream about a year or so ago, and she's had a couple, I think I've shared this with you. I've had a couple of encounters. And when I've been at a very low point, I have a picture of Olivia on my sun visor in the car. And I was at a very low point and I was very, very angry. And I was on a very smooth road. There's no bumps, no nothing. I was just driving very slow and I was having a moment. And there was a very, very heavy clip on the sun visor. That clip popped off. Her picture fell straight down, face up on the passenger side of my car. And I was looking at her and I said to her, "That was you, wasn't it? You were telling me to straighten up, quit crying, and just suck it in and just go on, put on my big girl pants."
Or giving you grace and a
or
big
maybe
hug.
just giving me grace and a big hug.
Yeah.
And then another time, I had pneumonia, went to the doctor the day before, and I had all kinds of medication. I fell asleep in my lazy boy chair, and out of nowhere, I had this thud on my chest, and I woke up with a start, and Lily was across the room. She would not have been able to come up and hit me. She was across the room, and I looked, and she was sitting on the floor, and she was crying. And I said, Lily, are you okay? Come to Nana. And she came over to me, and she snuggled up, and she said, I miss Olivia. And I knew that was Olivia telling me, Nana, wake up.
I didn't know
Lily
that story.
needs you.
I didn't.
It was a thud on my chest, like something hit me. And I was asleep because I had these like this drug because I was coughing. I think it was a codeine or something. Out of this sleep, this something hit me in the chest, like, wake up. Lily
Nana,
needs
you're
you.
needed.
Nana, you're needed. And Lily would not have been able to hit me and then run back across the room.
Yeah.
She was too far. But I looked, and there was Lily, and she was crying. I says, sweetheart, come to Nana. And she came up, and we cuddled, and she said, I miss Olivia. So that was Miss Olivia. So twice she's come to me when I've needed either straightened up, or she said, Nana, Lily needs you, or Nana, you're going to be okay.
The relationship does get to continue.
Do those two events, do they surprise you?
Yes, excuse me, I got my nose. Can I have your little, yeah, sorry.
I should have tissues.
Yeah, they do, because I hope she comes to me in my dreams. And she did one time, and she was snuggling, and she was giggling, and it was as clear as a bell. But I never expected anything physical, the unclipping and falling on the passenger side of the car, or having the thump on the chest. They both surprised me, but I knew who they were. I knew it was Olivia. So yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump out on a limb here. You believe Olivia is in the presence of God.
Yes.
And weren't we all taught with God all things are possible?
Of course.
Oh, we were.
Yes. That's right.
So I think we're the ones that limit our belief in what's possible. My thoughts are, if Olivia can do that, what else can she do?
Absolutely.
I agree.
And then asking for those signs, and then,
love the signs.
being patient and, fully waiting to receive them.
Yeah. Not hurrying it up.
So you're Jessica's mother, and you had a front row seat, you still do, of this journey that your daughter's been on. Are you surprised about the way that she has responded, embraced it, and who she's become? Does that surprise you?
No, because it's always been deep in her. She is a remarkable woman, and I am so proud of her. She's been through an incredible experience in life. And a lot of women would not have, they'd still be in bed. They would still have the blankets over their heads.
I have my days.
But no, she is a phenomenal. I'm so proud to call her my daughter. She has just evolved into this incredible woman. I'm so proud of her.
And it's just the beginning.
I agree. She is going, sky's the limit. Well, there's no limit. There is no limit. No,
I agree.
I'm so proud of everything she's doing and moving forward, and successes after success. And I just think it's marvelous. I'm just so proud of her.
Jeez, Mom, you're the best.
Oh,
Bee's knees.
you got it.
Thank you so much for sharing from your heart with us today.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having
Mom.
me on. It was wonderful.
One of these days she might say no to me, but it wasn't today. You can stay on, because we're gonna.
Okay. Well, there is a quote. I'm one of these quotes. Oh, I am on my 7th journal. I journal every day. I have 7. I'm on my 7th journal. And there was a quote that I've shared with Jessica recently, because we've had some experiences with not very nice people. But anyway, I forget the name of the gentleman. No, actually, it was anonymous. It was, only the weak are cruel. Kindness can only be found in the strong. Kindness can only be expected from the strong.
Oh, I like that.
I thought that is so true. So true. People that have gone through experiences, they're strong, and they want to be kind. Kindness,
Yeah.
you know, if you're nothing, if you can't be anything, at least be kind.
Yeah.
And you find that people that have gone through some trauma are the kindest, nicest people you'll ever meet in life. So
That's certainly the invitation. I mean, we certainly can become kinder. We can become more gentle.
Right.
We can become more understanding.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Go ahead.
Scandalous souls. I just
Yes.
think, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring on a mutual friend of ours. I'm going to bring on my friend Kirk Maddox, who is a kind, gentle, loving human being. Kirk is Garrett's dad. Kim and Kirk are Garrett's dad. Some folks know them, some don't. He is trying to connect. There you are.
Hi, Tom.
How are you?
Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So good
This
to
is-
see you.
Good to see you guys.
So we're talking about how we commemorate, how we honor birthdays, anniversaries. For those folks that don't know you like we do, tell us a little bit about Garrett and what brings you here today.
What brings me here today is, in my mind, I try to pay it forward a little bit. I try to reach one hand back like others have done for me on my healing journey. If I can help anybody in any way, that helps me. And so that's the reason that I'm here. Our son Garrett died by suicide. It'll be 5 years coming up in May. So that's the reason I'm here today. If I can help anybody in any way, it's very much worth it to me because other people have helped me.
So when is Garrett's birthday?
His birthday is May 14th,
And the date that he passed?
May 27th.
Yeah, so it's like boom, boom.
Right. So they're kind of together. Yeah, those two dates. They're not separated by very much.
In 2019, do you remember what did you do on the 14th and what did you do on the 27th? Or in 2020, this past year, sorry.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly if it was for his birthday or for his death date. And it didn't really matter this last year to me that much. But usually on one of those dates, I go to Starbucks with Kim and get him a cup of coffee. He liked Americana, was his favorite coffee. And the very first time we did it, I took it out to the cemetery and just to be with them and think about him and just feel him there. And the very first time I did it, I drank some of the coffee and Kim goes, "Well, what are you doing?" And I go, "Well, I'm drinking some of the coffee." And she goes, "Why?" And I go, "Because I knew if it was reversed, if I was dead and Garrett was bringing me coffee, he'd have some of mine." So, now it's become a tradition. Yeah, I'm going to drink some of his coffee when we go out there.
Sure.
So that's one thing that we did this past year. Another thing on, I don't know, like I said, I don't know which one was which, but what makes us feel good, Kim and I, is to pay it forward also. We've given your books, Tom, to people on Garrett's death date or anniversary date. I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically on that date, but in memory of Garrett, it's not as important to me that it has to be exactly specifically on that date. Just in remembrance of Garrett, to me, that is good. And so we try to do stuff like that, pay it forward. We've given people a class with you, Tom, and stuff like that. The money that we would have spent, whatever we can afford, or, just the money that we would have spent on Garrett, taking him out to eat, or what we would have bought for his birthday or Christmas, we try to pay that forward.
And Kirk, I am the grateful recipient of one of Garrett's birthday gifts. I don't know
Yes,
if you
you are.
remember, but it
I
was
remember.
in 18. And you and Kim lovingly, in Garrett's honor, gifted me with a scholarship for one of Tom's online programs. And I'm
Nice.
still
Love
so
it.
incredibly grateful.
Hi, Jessica's mom. I've never met you.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I
So-
remember that, Jessica. It
Yeah.
makes me feel good to do, to hear you say that. And,
Yeah.
like I said, people have helped us. So it's, to me, it's a full circle and it's a beautiful thing.
So I know that this strikes some people the wrong way, and I understand that. But one of the gifts of, yes, Garrett's life and Garrett's passing is that Jessica is here today. I mean, that's a direct gift from Garrett through his parents' open heart.
Yes, it is. It's a gift to us, that he gave us the opportunity to meet and connect with Jessica. Because when we gave Jessica, your class, Kim knew Jessica, but I didn't know Jessica. I had never taken a class with her, but I knew Jessica through Kim. Kim's my wife. And so she said, you're going to love Jessica. So I automatically knew that I would. And then, eventually no coincidences, we met up with Jessica. I got to know her better by taking some classes with her, and I finally got to meet her in person, and she's a beautiful person, just like I knew she would be.
I'm
Yep.
so incredibly grateful. And because of Garrett and through you, I've gotten to know Garrett and
That's a
hear
good point.
his story. And it was a profound shift for me when I was so bogged down in the early stages of my grief, thinking that no other pain is like childhood cancer pain, those old storylines. But I didn't know any different. But because of Garrett and through Kim and now through you, you have, you've shared his amazing story. And I know that grief is grief and love is love. And
I thought the same. I thought the same thing, Jessica. I thought, I think pretty much everybody that I've ever talked to feels that, theirs is the worst. And it is. At the time, it's the worst for them. So, and, to me, it's a full circle, and it's all gone through Tom too. He's been our main person to follow and set the example in reaching his hand back for us. And so we just try to continue the healing circle and pay it forward.
But I do also think that what the collective we has created is, yes, when it's my loved one that dies, that's the worst. But then as the clouds start to part, and I see some light, I am aware of the fact that what we've collectively created is there's a pecking order. And you do not want your beloved to die by suicide. You do not want them to die by an overdose. And if it's going to be an overdose, you don't want it to be a heroin overdose. I mean, it's what we do, but there is this pecking order. So, I mean, we talked about this. It's like, would you rather have your kid die from brain cancer, where they removed the kid's left temporal lobe, or would you rather have them die by suicide or get hit by a car, or fall off of a bridge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? There is nothing to be gained by going down that path.
yeah,
That's
no
true.
healing occurs from that.
No, I mean, the cold-hearted truth is dead is dead.
Dead is dead is dead.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's
It took a while for it to sink in for me, because like you said, it took time. Like you said, when the fog starts to clear, then you can kind of see and feel that and know that's the truth. That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Garrett was that shift for me. So I'll never forget it. I'm so grateful. Those beautiful butterfly, the ripple effect that we talk about of like the good deeds that continue long after the body leaves the planet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still, yeah, it's still impacting us today.
Kirk, I don't remember if it was the first anniversary of Garrett's death. I kind of think it was, but it might have been the second. Do you remember what you and Kim did? Because it's frickin' groundbreaking, and I think it's worth sharing with people.
Yeah, it was very powerful. And it was the first anniversary of Garrett's death. It was on his death date, very specifically set up for that date. And we went back to Wichita, and we couldn't park really out on the street, but we went around behind the house where Garrett died. And we sat there, and we gave ourselves a reading. You know, we had a reading with Rachel Pearson that very first year. It was on his death date. And I'll never forget. I'll give you one example. It was so beautiful and powerful. And Tom knows I'm the ultimate skeptic. I was skeptical of Tom when I first met him. So, you know, to win my trust is not easy, but obviously I trust Tom 100% now. And with the reading that we had with Rachel Pearson, I was of the mindset that, you know, I don't know about this. And, you know, I was very nervous, and we were sitting in the car, and it was like 5 minutes before the reading was supposed to start. And I was thinking about Garrett, and we were in the spot very close to where he died, right behind the house. And I started to get sick to my stomach. You know, I thought I was going to throw up for sure. So I got out of the car, and I don't know why, to this day, I don't know why I did this. Instead of standing up and bending over to throw up, I fell down on my knees, I guess, so I wouldn't, it sounds gross, but splatter on my shoes. I don't know why I did, but I went down on my knees, and I did not throw up. So I got back up in the car, and we started our reading. And one of the things that she said, Garrett's told me that he's not going to pick you up off your knees anymore, Dad, you know, and that was just, to me, very powerful and unbelievable. And then there was lots of other stuff in the reading that turned me into a believer. You know, there's stuff that we knew, very very personal details of our lives with Garrett and of Garrett that she told us about that no one could have picked up in any other way. And so then after that reading, it was very powerful, and I became a believer after that.
What an incredible way to mark the first anniversary of your child's death. I mean, what was it, the first time that you went back there?
Yeah, it was the first time we had gone back there, and the very first reading that we've ever had. And I wanted to make the point too, we've had 4 readings so far, you know, and Garrett, this will be coming up on Garrett's death date, would be 5 years this coming May. And Tom and I have talked about this before. You know, we save, for me, what I believe is we save the readings for special. You know, I don't want to rely on them and have them all the time. You know, we save them for special dates. And I think that's important. There's other groups out there that the readings seem to be a very primary focus. And I don't agree with that myself personally.
So let me ask you this. Prior to Garrett's death, did you ever in a million years think you would be scheduling time with a medium?
No. I told you, I'm the ultimate skeptic. I knew in my heart and my soul, I knew people were connected better than I was. You know, I'm a math and science type of guy. I knew it was there. I thought there's too many people involved in it. I thought there was something there, but you know, it wasn't for me. I didn't want anything to do with it. And no, if Garrett hadn't died, to this day, I believe I wouldn't have ever had one. There was no need. You know, I was happy. I was going on with life. I was happy. You know, it took Garrett dying for me to be cracked wide open to say yes, 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 yes to this, yes to this, yes to this. It might help, it might not. I don't care. I say yes to everything and take what resonates. That's what worked for me.
And would you say does your relationship with your son continue?
There's no doubt. And for me, my relationship continues. There was no reason until Garrett died for me to examine or think about any of that stuff. But like Tom says, when I got cracked wide open, I was willing and needed. It was a necessary for me to explore everything that I could to help myself heal. For me, I think it would have been easier to go down the road of being mad and pissed off and bitter and angry, and I would have had a great excuse to do that. So I think this way of trying to do a new way to do grief is very good. And I believe the relationship with Garrett continues. That for me, even if I think of it with my logical brain, that, the energy, the soul, the essence, how can that go away? I understand that the body goes away, but for me, the essence, what made Garrett Garrett, doesn't go away. And he showed me very many signs, and I know he's with me and all around me all the time, just like my God is.
Yes, yes. Okay, so on my Facebook page, I asked folks to share different ways, new ways that they celebrate birthdays or mark anniversaries. And there's a couple here that I want to share. Jeannie shared, on Caitlin's birthday for the past 5 years, we have been gifting an Old Navy card to a random customer that is shopping in the store. Caitlin bought almost all her clothes from Old Navy. And does this bring me comfort? Oh, yes, it does.
Nice.
I love that.
I love
And I
that.
also like this. She said, in addition, anybody could do this. In addition, we pay off a birthday cake at a local bakery for someone that has a special order on Caitlin's birthday. It's such a wonderful way to pay it forward in honor of my daughter.
That's
Is that
beautiful.
cool?
It's beautiful.
That is nice. That's lovely.
This is what Linda shared, that her anniversary date is close to Christmas. So I do something for someone. The first year I made 28 tie blankets and donated to Children's Hospital. This year I volunteered at Toys for Tots. For her birthday, I go to her favorite bakery and give whatever dollar amount I can and tell them to pay for the next person who comes in. And I leave a note. Love it, love it, love it. That's helping, keep our beloveds alive with us.
Another idea that's very powerful for me, I think you thought of it, Tom, or if you didn't, you got it from somewhere. I learned it in one of your classes, to give a gift to yourself from your loved one, like to give yourself a massage from Garrett, to give myself a new fishing rod from Garrett. That I love that concept also. I used to think it was selfish to do that, but to me, I've changed my opinion. To me, it's beautiful. Give yourself a gift, a birthday gift. When the day that they were born, give yourself a gift from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of that. So Marcia's son Samuel died. I love these kind of stories. Marcia said, we support 2 kids through World Vision in Samuel's honor. One of the children we support is in India. He shared Samuel's birthday and his middle name is Samuel. We felt a really special bond with this little boy. No coincidences.
No coincidences. Those beautiful ripple effects that go out and that continue.
Yeah, and when we're willing to see with new eyes and hear with new ears and feel with a new heart, we can make that connection. This is what Peggy Ann said. Ashley Ann died on November 1st, 2019. On the anniversary of her first birthday without her physical presence, we purchased baby diaper bags for distribution to moms in need. Ashley was born to a young birth mom, and our intention was to honor young moms.
Oh, nice.
Talk about paying it forward.
Absolutely.
And this is what Leanne said. I bought a cake, made his favorite meal, set a place setting for him, put a balloon on his chair, and lit a candle. Love that.
Yeah.
This is the last one. Ruth said, we have only celebrated one birthday since our daughter died in March. Her birthday was September 19th. Her roommates set up a Zoom meeting with a bunch of her friends, and they shared stories about her. It was so much fun to listen to them and know how much she is loved.
Like that.
Aw.
Yeah.
For anybody that's listening that doesn't, that it's not your loved one that passed away, so often I hear people say, I don't know if I should mention their name or not. You know,
Right.
I might make them more sad. Or I always think,
Make
it's
someone
like-
cry or
Yeah. or it's
Great.
like, I'm going to remind them that they died. So it's better not to. What are your thoughts about that?
yeah, there's no reminding, you know, we're so aware, of course.
We know every day.
We live
every
with
day.
the loss of their physical presence, but to be reminded
Yeah,
that
I
someone
love it.
remembers and someone
Yeah.
acknowledges
yeah.
a memory. I love those stories. And anything, you know, anytime anybody, just a simple, like just mentioning Olivia's name just
I love
brings
it.
me so much joy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
agree.
it has the opposite effect. I
Right.
think
It
that
makes
what
me
most
smile.
people,
It makes
are
it may
afraid
bring
of.
tears to my eyes, but it makes my heart sing.
yeah,
This is something that Jessica alluded to. I have never met Garrett. I have Garrett's sweatshirt. When I was with Kim and Kirk, I wore Garrett's slippers. I've never met him, but the other day I'm out walking, I look up, I see this beautiful streak in the sky. I immediately know that is Garrett. I take a photograph, I send it to Kim and Kirk. Garrett is leading the way. So there is a new way to do this. There is a new way to continue to keep our beloveds alive, to talk about them, and to feel connected to each other through them.
absolutely.
Oh,
A new way to
yes.
do it, and not to do it in solitude, but to do it in community. For me, you know, saying yes to the community and to supporting others and letting them hold us up when we're feeling that we need it the most.
Yeah.
Thanks to the three of you for being with us today. My hope is that we have shed some light, we have given you some ideas, and we have helped you create that miracle, that shift in perception. This is not the end. This is actually the beginning. This can actually be the beginning for a brand new life. So Jessica and I will be back next Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. Kirk, thank you for being here. Nana,
you for
thank
asking.
you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Okay,
Nice
take
meeting
care,
you.
everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
thank you, thank you.